Hey guys, Chase with iDub Hockey, hanging out with JD, brand manager for Bauer Hockey, hanging out here in New Hampshire, checking out your new Nexus line. Before we start talking tech and spec, how would you describe the fit profile compared to Supreme and Vapor, and has it changed from the previous one in line?
Yeah, Nexus as a whole is what we call a volume fit or a high profile fit. So if you look at the specific areas, the ankle wrap, the heel depth, the instep, the forefoot, it's got the most amount of volume. So it really wraps the foot very, very well. But again, a lot of our consumer research looking deeper into the market as a whole, it's roughly around 15% of all consumers would fit into this what we consider a high profile foot. So it's really geared for a very specific foot shape. Has the fit changed? No, it has not. It's the same great Nexus fit from previous generations. I think you'll see some of the key characteristics of the skate in terms of making a little bit more anatomical in the heel and ankle area at price points is where we really focused on some of the key changes.
We'll start with your top of the line 2N here. Yep. Looks like it's a little more traditionally built from what we've seen in the past from the top of the line Bauer skate. But what are the key features that really still provide that pro level, elite level performance?
Absolutely. So performance is always, anytime that we bring out a new skate is always, the number one thing that we look at. So in terms of the 2N, it's a value-driven price point. So it offers a lot of the pro specs that players have become accustomed to. So the curved composite material built into the quarter, very lightweight, very thermoformable. It's 3D lasted, so it's very articulated in the heel, the ankle areas. All those great features that you would have seen in a high-end Bauer skate are featured in the 2N. A couple other things is if you look at like the steel that we're using, LS3 steel, it's got a lot of material built into it. It's quickly become the most trusted steel from Bauer from an offering standpoint. So, bringing that down to a value price point was key. A composite outsole, which is great for torsional stiffness. So the reaction of the skate on the ice from a performance standpoint is a very high end. And then you even look at a lot of the interior materials and the tongue. A lot of it was drafted off being from high-end specs or pro-level specs of 2 or 3 years ago, built into a price point that is very affordable for a lot of consumers out in the marketplace.
And it sounds like a lot of these specs are still very commonly requested at the pro level when they're doing their custom skates.
Yeah, absolutely. As we know, players are a creature of habit. So if you look at like the 48-ounce felt tongue with a high-density metatarsal guard, that is very similar to our most popular custom specs. So again, we looked at every kind of area and tried to say, how can we make this the best fitting, best performing skate on ice for that high-end player.
Okay, let's talk about your N2900 here. Yep. Looks like we have a new construction, new material in the boot that we haven't seen in Nexus before. It has this awesome anatomical shape, just visually speaking from the outside. How were you able to accomplish that? And what kind of material are you using in the quarter there?
Yeah, so we're using a fiber composite material, which is, again, it's lightweight and it's very thermoformable. So a lot of the features that you would see in the Supreme and Vapor family, we're building it into Nexus from a material standpoint and performance aspect. I think one of the big things with Nexus was it's always used in the past, it's always used what we call a kind of a conventional or a traditional lasting system. This year what we said is, hey, we've seen more consumers gravitate to 3D lasting and that shape in the heel, the shapes in the ankles, the Achilles, even in the forefoot area. So we've gone to the 3D lasting process all the way down throughout the Nexus line to really drive fit improvements at the mid price point levels.
Well, let's talk about the 2700 to finish this off here. Again, still great anatomical shape right out of the box. Obviously going to form to the foot really well. What are a couple key specs we're going to find it on here? Yeah,
so again, very similar to our other family. So what we try to use is materials at different price points, about engineering the proper flex inside of it, or the proper flex of the skate boot. So when we use like a PU quarter for example, aesthetically very, very appealing, ties to the rest of the family, but it's more about applying or allowing for the player to flex the boot a little bit easier. Again, there's a lot of different skill levels out in the marketplace, and not everybody's going to need a pro stiffness, for example, that you'd find on a 2N. This one's going to be closer to like a 7 out of 10 from a skate flex standpoint. It's going to have a little bit more torsional flex as well. So for those players who are 70, 80 pounds, they have a much different need. This is going to be the skate for them that's going to allow them to perform and execute the skating stride a little bit easier.
Awesome, JD. Well, thanks for having us out, filling us in. And then for you guys at home that would check out more of these Nexus skates, make sure you go to icewarehouse.com.